Ask Susan Sunday Live, and I'm live today. It's an amazing February that we're playing with. All about relationships on Ask Susan. Right relationship for you, Susan Lazar, Hart coaching, all the buckets that I play with. Let's wait for the algorithms to kick in. If you have a friend who is really requiring to be listening, hey Allison, tag them, tell them to get on in here. Hey Rosanna, welcome. Tell us where you're from. We have an international community. Everybody's always interested in where people are calling in from or coming in from. Hey Rita, welcome. So the question today is, what are you listening for? Right? Now, this came to me because a lot of my clients, I find when they ask a question, they're looking for an answer. Now, what do you mean, Susan? Hey, Allison. What do you mean they're looking for an answer? Well, how often do you ask a question with an answer in mind? Well, asking a question with an answer in mind really actually isn't asking a question. It's, hey, Dorit, it's looking for validation, right? So, again, this came to me with listening to my clients, and actually somebody came on to the Ask Susan Facebook and asked this question. Ingrid, how do I know when I ask a question with some conclusion or a wanted answer in it? Well, you already know. You already know. If it's already a closed question, did you do this? Is not a question. What time are you coming in? You get the judgment on that? What I'm going to encourage you to do today, and what we're going to be talking about, is asking a question with an open heart, right? Asking a question from a true sense of curiosity, of possibilities, of limitless, being limitless in the question. So the first thing I might ask you is, what's your why in asking the question, right? What's your why? Have you already decided you're right? Somebody else is wrong? Are you trying to prove something? When you ask a question of yourself, because the way we ask questions of others is the way we ask questions of ourselves. What did I do this for? Get the judgment in, there's no question there. You're actually looking for the reasons and justifications of where you are, why you are, and how come you're feeling the way you're feeling. Now, before we go any further, this is a conversation, not a dialogue or monologue. And if we're in the right ballpark, give me a heart, thumbs up. Come on in with your questions and your comments. That's what Ask Susan's all about. So the first thing I'll ask you is, what's your why in asking the question? What time is it? Is like, oh, maybe you don't know what time it is and you'd like to know what time it is, right? Are you asking what time is it to prove somebody else wrong or right? What time is it? You knew you were supposed to come in at 7. Right? You knew that was due on my desk at 3. Do you know what time it is? Are you starting to get the gist here? There's no possibility for somebody to shift and change, right? So the first part is, what is your why in asking your question? Hey, Ilham, welcome, Ilham. And how's it working for you, right? When you ask a question from a line of defense, from a place of boundary, that's not actually a question. Right? A question opens possibilities. It's really, really simple. And the possibilities are endless. So when we ask a question, are you willing to be present? Hey, Ignash. Are you willing to be present with the response that you're getting? Hey, Anna, welcome. Right? So when I titled this, what are you listening for? Are you listening for a possibility? Right? Or are you listening for the problem that you've already decided you have and you just want validation for that? Right? They'll never be open later tonight is not a question. How can I get rid of this? Is not a question. Because you already decided you have a problem. So, one of the things that I put a little poll on Ask Susan, and I asked, what does question mean to you? What kind of questions would you like more of? And what got the biggest hit was, what's the difference between asking a question and being the question? Hey, Alex, welcome, welcome. Right? So, and for all of you who just came in, I just started with a lot of juicy stuff. You know me, can't hold it back. So please have a re-listen. Basically, just to have a fast retake, I'm asking you to ask yourself, what's your why in the question? Right? If you're asking a question to prove you're right or wrong, or somebody else is right or wrong, that's not a question, right? That's looking for validation. Right? So a question opens up possibilities. What's the difference between asking a question and being the question? Hey, Maureen, glad you're here too. Well, when you're willing to be the question, you're asking a question with an open heart, right? What's an open heart? There's nothing preceding it. Well, if they answer this one, I'm going to say that. You've already closed down the possibilities. Right? I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove them right with this question. You already projected a future possibility into what you've decided is a question, and you're going to get that. If you decide this is going to be a problem, you're going to get a problem. Right? If you decide you're going to prove somebody wrong, well, enjoy yourself. What's beyond that? What possibilities are beyond that? Allison, okay, here we go. Allison's, thank you. Aha moment, when I'm blocked on asking a question, searching for right questions to validate my conclusion. Thank you. Yes. Mwah. Thank you, Allison. Thank you for your awareness. That's when you're looking to validate a point of view, all you're doing is gathering information that's going to validate your point of view. Right? And your point of view creates your reality. Your point of view creates the reality that you're living in, right? How's it working for you would be my question, right? Now, one of the questions I love to play with when I'm up against something that actually isn't working for me, could be my business, could be my body, could be this reality, is how did I create this? And I'm not looking for reasons, I'm not looking for justifications. That's being the question. You know, just a few seconds ago, we started introducing the idea, what's the difference between asking a question and being in the question and being the question? Well, how did I create this? Okay, now I'm going to take an aerial view of my life, my living, could be my finances, could be whatever, my relationships. And I'm going to ask myself, okay, so how did I create this? And is this working for me? Sorry, I don't know how to take the ding off sorry, who's ever dinging me, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to the ding. So that's pretty funny. Any questions on this? Right? And thank you, Allison, for your awareness. Any questions on this? Again, before you go and ask a question, ask yourself, what is it that you'd like to create with this question? Now, if it's like, oh, I don't know, fantastic. But if you come up with, well, I want to prove they're right, I want to prove they're wrong, I want to get what I want, right? How many people do you know ask a question in order to get what they've already decided they deserve? Allison was searching my phone for what the noise was. Thanks, Allison. Sorry, everybody. Someone's trying to text me, and if you know how I can take that ding off my text, let me know. Not right now, but just private message me and say, oh, Susan, this is how you do it. That's a question. No point of view. Any questions? Anything popping for you? Is this, is this in your wheelhouse? For myself, it was really a big aha when Ingrid wrote in this question. Anytime you are looking for something you've already decided, you're not actually being in the question. You're not being the question. Yeah. What if all of the responses were totally different than what you ever thought was possible? I wonder what that could create. And are you willing to ask from a space of space? Because when we ask a question, when we're willing to be the question, and the willingness to be the question, the difference between asking a question and going, I asked the question. I got a heart from Rosanna, thank you. And being the question is everything shifts and changes. the possibilities shift and changes. Like, is this working for me? How's this working for me? If it's not working for me, what else is possible here? What other possibilities are here for me? Let's open this up. We got a question from Janice. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. What is it when you're afraid or don't want to know? The awareness that comes from the question, but you do, and you stop yourself to ask a question, and you've done it for a while and know and feel and don't know how to ask. Whew, how to get out of that? Wow, what's that nice little hamster? Hey, Monique, running on a rabbit wheel with that one. So here's the deal. So what is it when you're afraid or don't want to know the awareness? You might ask, who does that fear belong to? So how many of you were brought up at a very young age with the information of don't ask, don't tell. You don't want to know, right? Why are you asking this question? You don't want to know. Well, you actually do. So when you're very young, you shut off that, oh, I'm curious. Little children are curious. I mean, they walk around, put stuff in their mouth, and they're curious. They're a sensate organ walking. So at what age did you shut down that sensate awareness of, oh, why is the sky blue? How come you guys are fighting? What's going on? Right? At what age did you do that in order to survive in your family of origin or in your family that you were raised in? And would you be willing to let it go? Right? Janice, let me know if this assists you. How do you get out of that? You kind of laugh, I do, and say, wow, that was an interesting conundrum I got myself into. That's a nice kind of mind fuck I was in. Not mine. Who does that belong to? Not mine. Right? One of the things I've been playing with recently is taking that mind that goes and doesn't stop, and I've just been putting it to the side as if it was somebody next to me. And I'm like, would you allow somebody next to you to just at you? Probably not. You just say, bye-bye. Thank you. No. Going back to an open heart. Going back to being open with this. Let me know if that assists you, Janice, or anybody else. Allison, could you suggest a clearing to be more of being the question, please? Well, here's the deal, Allison, and thank you so much for that question. For everybody else listening, you can clear till the cows comes home. You actually, it's choice. Like, I choose to be the question. That's what works for me. There's curiosity in there. There's discovery in there. There's possibilities in there. So it's not about clearing it. Choice precedes everything. Who am I today? What grand and glorious adventure can I be, do, have, create, change, choose, generate, instill, and instigate, bring it on? What is today going to be like? Right? That's what I ask every morning. And the other thing is I check in and I'm like, am I open today? Right? Am I willing to be open today? Am I willing to embody who I be, what I be, what I came here for, and what I'm doing? And I acknowledge that. So I would say, rather than clear, what if you start acknowledging who you be and the question of you? And it's not the question of you like, oh my God, I got to figure it out. It's more like, oh yeah, I wonder what this will create. And be in the wonderment rather than, well, often when we go to clear things, we've decided there's a wrongness here and a wrongness there, and I got to clear that, and I got to clear that. Stop the madness. Start acknowledging. Start enfolding. Start embodying. Being the question. Just for today. Let's see what that creates, Allison, and let me know. Dorit. Okay. My husband sometimes gets annoyed when I ask why. Okay. Thank you, Dorit. My husband sometimes gets annoyed when I ask why. He thinks his answer is clear, but I'm curious and want more info. And I'm pure curious and he thinks not. Okay. Here's the deal, everybody. Why is not a question. Right? It might be for you, Dorit. For the most part, in this reality, we ask why because we're looking for a reason and justification. I'm going to be like, why? I don't have enough money. Why? I'm going to paint this room green. Why? Right? You feel the pushing energy? When a little kid asks why, it's like, why? Why is the sky blue? Why can't we have ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? But what they're asking with why can't I have ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is they're saying, I would like ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you're really, really curious about where he's coming from, there's another way to be with that, which is, hey, I'm curious. That's such an interesting thought, position, whatever it is. Could you give me some more on that? Do you get the difference between why? If you're truly, truly curious as to where he's coming from, say it. Own it. Hey, I'm curious. Where did that come from? I'm curious. If you're not, if you want to prove he's right or wrong, or that you're right or that you're wrong, let it go. Let it go, let it flow. That's being with an open heart. Hey, I'm curious. Curiosity is with an open heart. Dora, let me know how that rings for you. Claudia, hello. Good one, I was sick, says Claudia. Vanessa, in a situation when things aren't working, I've asked a question, but I'm still in my mind a conclusion. It makes things difficult to change. It sure does, honey. It does make things difficult to change. You can't change what you've decided you can't change. You can change what you're open to shifting and changing. Right? In a situation when things aren't working, I ask a question, but I'm still in my mind a conclusion. So the question to ask is, I wonder what could shift and change this. And maybe it's going for a walk. You know, this is my office, and on my Facebook page, I often show you pictures of the window right here. And I'll go, oh, is this working for me? Yes or no? Time to go outside? Okay. Trees. Contribution? Yes or no? It's like shift and change where you are, where you're sitting, what you're drinking, who you surround yourself with, the books you're reading. If it's not working, we have this capacity to shift and change. We're the only animal, I think we'll call us animals, on the planet that have decided things have to stay the way they are. Right? So, when you say in a situation, I would ask yourself, oh, so I'm situated here for what reason? That's being the question. I'm situated here for what reason? How's this working for me? What other possibilities are here? Vanessa and everybody else, let me know how that works for you. Ingrid said you just read my mind. Hey, Sybil. Dorit, what else is possible here? Often or almost always gives me the answer. Yes. Awesome. And I love that, Dorit. Thank you. And I'm just going to enlarge on it a little bit. It's the energy behind the question. So for people who are saying, like, I asked what's possible here and nothing's changing, is not really being the question. But, so what's possible here? I often ask, what's possible here I haven't been willing to be or see? What's possible here I haven't been willing to be or see? And then I go, then I dig a little deeper. It's like, and start acknowledging where I haven't been willing to be or see this. And also, how did I create this? Not as in looking for a fault, but more like an aerial view of what's possible here I haven't been willing to be or see, and how did I actually create this? Again, today's Ask Susan is about what are you listening for, right? Are you listening for a wrongness? Or are you listening for a possibility? I wonder. And when you're in a conversation with someone, are you listening with an open heart to the myriad of possibilities? Or are you listening to find them right or wrong, or you right or wrong? Or are you listening for validation? Jagnish, we'll have to listen to it again. Internet froze. Oh, I'm so sorry. Dorit, yes, I will add that to my next why. Thanks. You're so welcome. Hey, Daria, Vanessa, this is so true. Thanks. Maureen is watching. Yay. Maureen, there's lots of, thank you, Maureen. There's lots of juicy nuggets in here. So come on in and re-listen. And for those of you who are listening later, put hashtag replay. I always check out. You know me, I'm curious. And if I reach out and thank you, I'm just thanking you. Because I'm so grateful for all of you who turn up every Sunday. And if you have any more questions on this, come into the Ask Susan Facebook. right? And put your questions in. I check in every day. And for those of you who want to dig a little deeper, some of you already have worked with me. Some of you have been asking about working with me. Yes, I have coaching packages in which we meet every other week for 3 months. And we dive deep. And it's a commitment for both of us. Because for me, change occurs after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Change occurs when we change one small habit into a greater habit that creates greater, right? Change occurs when you know somebody has your back. And that's me as your coach. How's it get any better? So if you're interested, just private message me or go to SusanLazarHart.com for private sessions, and we'll get a free strategy session in there. And really, strategy is about looking what's working, what's not working, and how can we shift and change it so your life actually creates the kind of life that you've been asking for, in which you actually hear what's going on in your life from with an open heart, from a broad aerial view, right? Yeah. So, any other questions popping in? We're at the 20-minute mark. You know, I like to keep these short. If not, it's relationship month, and I'm going to be popping relationship stuff in all over the place. So keep your eyes out for my story. Come on over and like and share what you see. I'm so grateful for all of you. Until then, next Sunday, live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader you came here to be. A fearless leader is one that when they're willing to be the question and be in the question, there's an admiration. There's an acknowledgement. There's an open heart. Oh, I got a thumbs and a heart on that one. Yeah. Are you willing to play with who you be and how you be when you're asking for information? Thank you. Oh, I got thumbs up and hearts and rainbows and all kinds of goodies. Adore you, and see you next Sunday. And if you, again, have special questions, pop into the Ask Susan Facebook. If you want to work with me and get down and dirty, and I'm there for you. Thank you, Elam. So nice to see you as well. Thank you, Allison. I adore you all. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye.